Welcome to the TPC desktop video series. In this series, we'll look at doing a single proportion, one of the cadastral tools available in Traverse PC. We've got two traverses drawn here. The traverse on the top is a retracement, in this case going through a section corner in the east at A, through a quarter corner here at B, and on over to the other section corner at C. Below it, we've got a traverse that holds that same survey, but holds the record data instead of the retracement data. If we were to bring up our traverses, we see that we've got two traverses tagged, one for the record data, one for the retracement data. Let's go ahead and open up that retracement traverse. And we can see here's our points A, B, and C. I'm going to highlight point B, pull down COGO, and choose single proportion. Now, if you haven't already watched the video on double proportioning, we introduce you to this dialog box that we use both for single proportions and for double proportions. In this case, Traverse PC looked at the traverse that we started with, the retracement traverse for this lost corner, and said, I can identify from that traverse that point C in that traverse is to the west of the temporary corner, so I'm going to make that the west known corner. You can see from the traverse that point A, immediately adjacent to B in the traverse, is to the east, so it makes that the east known corner. So now I basically have all my retracement data filled out just from highlighting the appropriate point in the traverse view. Now let's come down and look at the record data. If we notice in the drawing on the right, I've already established the record endpoints for those section corners at D and F. So I can use those point labels in an equation to recall that record information. I could just type it in. I think it's a little faster to recall the points if I've already created them. Notice that I've turned on the toggle here at the bottom that says recall direction and distance with equations. So I only have to type in the bearing, in this case from D to E, and Traverse PC recalls both the bearing and the distance. Let's enter on over to the east corner, and let's go from F to E. In Traverse PC's single and double proportions, I'm always entering bearing directions from the known corner to either my lost or my temporary corner position. So that's why I went from F to E in this particular case on the east side. Now, I'm not going to compute the latitudinal offset just yet. I'm going to go right to the summary, and let's see what Traverse PC computed for our corner here. We're over here in the report view where Traverse PC puts the summary information for us. And Traverse PC tells us that we're going to do a single proportion for the lost corner B, that we're using the existing corners A and C, and then it gives us all the record information that we entered in the dialog box. It gives us all of our retracement information that we entered in the dialog box, and then computes the same distance factor, that you would compute if you did this computation manually. Then Traverse PC comes in and computes the position of the lost corner and gives us our inverses once again from A to the lost corner and from C to the lost corner. Finally, if we've established a temporary corner, Traverse PC tells us what we would have to do to move from the temporary corner to the lost corner, and gives us the offset both in coordinates, northing and easting, and in distance and direction. Now let's come back to our single proportion dialog box, and let's turn on the option at the bottom that says Compute Latitude Offset. Let's hit the summary button again. Traverse PC comes up, and this time does the single proportion, but using the latitudinal offset for the computed position. So it tells us again, we're going to compute a position for the lost corner B. We're basing it on the existing corners A and C. It gives us our record and retrace information and that distance factor again. But now here's something new. Traverse PC says to put this lost corner on the latitudinal arc between the known corners east and west, we're going to have to move that temporary point south 2825 east, 0.172 chains to put it on that arc. And again, now when we come down and look at our inverses, these are to that computed position on the latitudinal arc. And when we come down and see our moves for our temporary corner, this is going to move the temporary corner to the computed position again on that latitudinal arc. What I want you to notice here as I work between the single proportion dialog box and this report is that I haven't actually computed or updated any points in the survey yet. I've just been hitting the summary button to see what Traverse PC has done computation-wise. It's not until I actually come in and either recall the position of the lost corner and tell Traverse PC I want to update its computed coordinates, or create an entirely new point, okay, for that point, that I'm actually saving the results of this single proportion to a survey point